Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. AJ, Rudolph, Meghan coming to you live as the Avs take on the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton today. Still on a 5-game losing streak. You love to see them snap it. Given the Avs' struggles on the defensive side of the puck, McDavid and company might not be the best team to do it against. AJ's just straight up vibing to this saxophone over here.
It is nice.
It is nice.
What are your initial vibes? Let's going into this game. You feel good? You feel bad?
I don't know how you feel good when the team's on a 5-game losing streak.
It's fair.
Especially because they have lost games in different ways. You know, it's not like they're going out and getting torched every night and you're just like, well, they're bad. There's been hope. They gave us hope in some of these.
Wouldn't that make you feel better, though?
No, because then we'd be covering the Blackhawks, and I don't ever want to do that again.
No, I'm saying the fact that they've lost in different ways and they've given us hope.
No, because it just makes me feel like it doesn't matter what the game looks like tonight, they'll find another way to lose.
Oh, my.
No trust.
So negative.
No trust.
Meghan, just as bad?
For different reasons, but I have residual bad feelings from the last game. And right now I'm in a place of fear because they have to respond to the frustration of last game. And I could either eat my words and everything that we said in the post-game podcast based on what they do tonight, or they could respond to it exactly like you'd like to see a team dig deep and play well. I just don't think it's going to be an easy win. I don't know if other people out there have felt that way, but I personally do not. The return of Evan Rodriguez adds a little bit of positivity, but it's hard, like AJ said, to feel good after they lost as badly as they did in Vancouver.
I'm a little more positive than you guys. However, I do understand that McDavid could just drop 5 on their heads tonight, and that's the way things go.
I think that's what I don't feel good about is the fact that you don't trust that they're going to be able to keep McDavid off the scoreboard, and you don't trust that the Avalanche as a team are going to be able to outscore him.
They got to outscore their problems eventually. It'll come.
They don't, though. There's nothing that says they will have to eventually outscore their problems.
I mean, laws of statistics say it'll probably happen eventually.
I'm with you.
But
I can't not try to find some optimism, and I think the best matchup of a McDavid-McKinnon does something to Nathan MacKinnon that could also instill a little bit of confidence that maybe they do play with a spark for the entirety of the game because of the steep competition on the other side of it.
You definitely usually get that level out of the Avs top guys, I think for sure. They always want to match that elite level competition. Things like Edmonton putting Draisaitl on the second line could be a little bit more problematic, though.
Yeah. Although he will be next to that bum Nuge, so.
Oh, my God.
Has that always been a thing? I've only just heard it crop up the other day.
It's been a thing for 1 week since I said I would love Nuge as the Avs 2C, and AJ was like, he sucks.
Yeah. It's entirely about being obnoxious.
I don't want to talk about second lines, though. I want to talk about firsts and first lines and first power play units and first goalies and first goals. What's the floor? What is the minimum the Avs need out of their top gun tonight? 2 goals? 3?
Yeah, I think it's 2.
2? Okay. Because
that's without that as a starting point, I think that they're.
And you're probably breaking even at 2, right? Like,
you hope.
Yeah.
But I think it's 2. I think it's 2 to have a competitive game. And to be honest with you, I had them as a standout against Vancouver. When you were looking at it,
Sure.
They generated like 60% of their scoring chances came from that top line.
Half their shots.
Yeah, it was half their shot attempts. Half of their shot attempts came from 3 dudes.
And half of those came from Mikko.
It was, you know who had the most? You know who led them in scoring chances? Was Lehkonen.
Yeah, sure. The dude in around the net.
He was all around. He was all around the play. He's just not finishing. And that's where that's just where you are with it. Is that they haven't created a It hasn't been a lack of creation on offense. It hasn't been a total outage. Their finishing has been awful, and then every once in a while, their defense goes to sleep.
Which brings me to my next question for Megan. Megan, which first needs to be more impactful tonight? The first line or the first D pair?
I think just based off of the errors of Vancouver's game, the first D pair.
Okay.
It's hard to really pick, though, because you need goal support to win games. You don't win games 0-0, so obviously that's a factor. But if that top D pair wanted to contribute offensively to alleviate some of that, that could be the secret answer.
Please. Please top pairing contribute offensively.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Can we please get a 4-point Cale Makar game? Can Devon Taves just not hand away opportunities to other teams?
Would be nice, to say the least. And, obviously this conversation is muddled because it's very difficult to separate those two things, right? You're going to get a lot of minutes with the first line and the first pairing out there together, particularly against a team like Edmonton. So,
how nice of them to take my video breakdown.
I think yours looked cooler, to be honest. Anyway.
This is actually going to make me mad.
Why? Because they watched your video and copied it?
It's fine.
That looks awfully similar. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, firstly...
It's blowing my mind.
Firstly, in this game is the first period. Now, against Vancouver, I wouldn't say the Avs had a great start, but they had a perfectly reasonable one. I guess let me phrase it this way. How do the Avs avoid putting themselves in a hole early tonight?
Man, just move the legs, have some energy, and give a shit.
Stay out of the box.
I like her answer better. I'm not going to lie.
Fine with me.
I think it's a combination of everything.
For sure. But we've seen the Avs do a really good job of taking their aiming reticle and pointing it right at their foot with the penalties. Particularly anyone in the bottom six of your forward core, Cogs, can't be taking penalties. Curtis McDermott can't be taking penalties. You just cannot have it from those guys down in your lineup. They cannot beat you. You can't beat yourself with your depth forwards. That's all you're asking of those guys. And taking penalties, you're beating yourself.
And you have to have your legs under you to avoid those penalties, because a lot of times those calls are happening because they're a step behind the play and they're reaching out their arms and doing things that they shouldn't and acting reactively instead of being in front of the play. And so I think AJ's point is also true. They need to be sharp. They sharpen it up.
There you go.
Brad Hunt. Stop taking penalties.
Yeah.
Like, your bottom six, your bottom pairing, like,
yeah.
a lot of guys here. And Brad Hunt blew me away when I was like, you got 3 penalties in 5 games.
And
you're playing 9 minutes a night, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. He's also not getting calls when he gets his teeth knocked out, to be fair. So
that was a game-changing play.
Got to get the anger out some way.
We're not allowed to talk about anything that may be out of the Avs' control that hasn't gone their way. If we're not 100% crushing the Avs, we're homers. It's been a really, really annoying 48 hours.
You've been popping off on Twitter about it too, a little bit. I've seen it.
I'm ready to like invite all the people down to the bar and just be like, let's go.
Let's talk it out.
Let's fight about it.
I even replied to a YouTube comment, AJ.
That's when you know it's bad. When Megan's in the YouTube comments.
And for what it's worth, they were not being bad at all. It was I take ownership of that.
The other side of firsts is lasts, and we'll get back to the game a little bit. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Mikko is most likely going to be the Avs representative in the last chance vote for the All-Star game. Honestly, we all just agree he deserved to just be at the All-Star game?
I thought it was him ahead of Makar, and that's not to discredit Makar. It's just based on this year's performance so far. I thought Mikko was the go-ahead.
Hard agree.
Yep, I agree. When I asked graphics to make, when I asked production to make 2 graphics,
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, I guess there's a chance they'd pick Makar, but I'm looking at Makar in a division where it's like the defense isn't great, and so I was like, okay, Josh Morrissey is an obvious easy end.
Yeah.
Kale Makar, Miro Heiskanen.
You have a conversation. Yeah.
But those guys with Dallas, with Heiskanen, you've got Jason Robertson in the MVP conversation.
Easy
And
choice.
so it was like
for their forward skater.
Mikko sort of just felt like he was a victim of the fact that who else would you pick from the entire division? You're gonna pick a defenseman from Minnesota? No. Are you gonna pick one from St. Louis or Nashville? Like,
I mean, you could have taken Yossi, but
maybe.
so like, I just thought that at the end of the day, when you looked at how they had to build
just
the division,
counted
as a whole,
out that way. Yeah.
and it was just like, well, there are more good forwards than good defensemen, and Mikko got the raw end there. But had Nathan MacKinnon been having the season that Mikko was having,
he'd be at the All-Star
McKinnon
game.
would have been the guy over Cale Makar.
Which is why I have this fear that we understand how important Mikko is. I didn't submit any votes today, but I just want to encourage people that they have until I think the 17th to continue submitting their ballots.
Yeah.
Like, I think we all assume he should be going, but just don't forget to vote, you guys.
We should really, every day, we should be reminding people, you
bopping
guys
that,
should be voting
yeah.
for Mikko. You know, last year there was the big voting for Nas campaign because
Yes.
he'd never been in one before, and it was going to be a really cool thing to get a bunch of abs in, and especially to reward him. Well, Mikko should have the same thing. The fact that Clayton Keller right now has more All-Star appearances than Mikko Rantanen
Ridiculous.
is an absolute travesty of justice.
Agreed. He's such an obvious choice, so we just have to remember to vote for him.
Yeah. So make sure you guys are voting for Mikko.
All I'm saying.
The Eagles have been up. They were up 2-0 before the show even
Look,
started.
Foodie just keeps continuing to score at the AHL level. He's got it figured out.
Just bring him up and keep him up.
I don't know if he could score at the NHL level.
Yeah,
That's why I
me
made
either.
the qualification.
Me either. But look, if you're not going to vote for Mikko, at least vote for like Oscar Olausen. All right? Vote for Curtis McDermott. Pull another John Scott.
I think they have to be in the NHL right now. I was reading some guidelines.
That were certainly put in there after the John Scott fiasco.
100%. Like so unless there's a call up in the future, you're in the McDermott territory.
The John Scott thing was really weird for me, like on a personal level,
Oh,
because I used to drink beer with John Scott when he was a Houston Aero,
sure.
and like he was a defenseman back then, and he hadn't started gooning it up because the Wild hadn't told him that was his path to the NHL.
Yep.
And so, you know, he was just this dude, I think he was out of Michigan Tech, and was just this giant human being who used to just pick dudes up out of piles and remove them. And because he was like the hall monitor in scrums, because he knew that he would hurt people if he got involved.
Yeah.
So he was just the adult, just removing the children. And so the John Scott thing was just like,
Wild.
it was really weird to see him like win an NHL All-Star
MVP.
game MVP. And like the craziest part was that he didn't deserve to be in the All-Star game, but he absolutely was worthy of winning the MVP once he got there.
Yep. It was fun.
So weird.
It was genuinely a fun thing. Isn't that the
Yeah.
whole point of the All-Star game? To
It
be
was a
fun?
fun
I
thing.
don't know. I'm not the
And
target
the NHL
audience
was
for
like,
it.
never again.
I
The
thought it was
fans
fun.
enjoyed it? No.
No happiness league. That's what they call it. NHL. Beyond that, Avs have to close. Avs have to go through the last minute. Of their 5 losses, 2 of them have been multi-goal blown leads. Is this a trust the process moment, or does something have to change for Colorado in the way they're playing with a lead?
With the lineup looking the way that it does, I don't trust it.
Okay.
When the adults come back, you know, when they've got the reinforcements that will make them a deep and very problematic team to beat on a night in, night out basis, I trust that hockey team.
That's great.
That
2
hockey
weeks
team
from
doesn't
now,
exist at the moment.
What can they do to make you trust it now?
I would say just get the job done.
Okay.
You know, Edmonton isn't so good. They're not so overwhelmingly good.
It's true.
That they should, it's, like you're always worried about McDavid. Especially because McDavid has popped off, particularly against the Avs in his career. But Edmonton's not so overwhelmingly good that it's like, this is an easy win for the Oilers. The Avs belong on that ice with them, and
Yeah.
they just need to finish it. Like they just need to, they need to just put it and like remove like the stretches of games where they are an abomination. Because it's not an entire game. They haven't gone out and laid a 60-minute egg.
It's 5
I guess
to 10
Arizona
minute
was
stretches.
the closest that you could argue, and there were circumstances in that.
Yep.
But all this stuff about this losing streak, like it's been small moments. It's been little things here and there that have done it to them. It hasn't been a complete lack of quality of play. So it's really just remove the self-defeating nonsense. And I think that they put themselves in a position.
Okay.
My answer is really similar to AJ. I still believe in the underlying process. My issue has been the execution, and some of it has been you count on the process working when it's being executed by the personnel who know what they're doing. And at this stage in the game, there are personnel who do know what they're doing and should be doing it better, but you're seeing a lot of mental frustration and overcorrection happening within the execution that is leading to mistakes. And so I really hate the cliche of sticking to the process, but the issue is the execution, and they just need to play simple where they're uncertain instead of overcorrecting in a panic. And go back to the parts of the process that have worked for them, that have won them a Stanley Cup.
And when you do look at a 5v5 shooting percentage that's in the fucking tank,
In the 4s.
you are looking at it and saying, yeah, if you trust that process, your process of creating chances and all that has been good.
Yep.
Hasn't been bad, hasn't been middle of the road, hasn't been this nightmare. It's
Actively
been good.
Yep.
It's been good. Your execution and finishing
Until you
has been
actually
bad.
Yes.
shoot the puck, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been that last step has been bad.
Yep.
And so you're like, all right, you've taken 9 positive steps and your last one is a misstep. You remove that, you'll be fine. Because the process has been fine.
Sometimes life ain't complicated. Just play it a little better.
I hate that because it's right. They really just need to play better.
Yep.
The All-Star game doesn't determine home ice in the finals.
It has never in the NHL
Yeah, that was a baseball only.
for like 8 years, and everyone hated it, so they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
It was just an MLB thing.
Anyway.
Somebody put a comment up there about that. That's why.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all good. Blaze sent us in some bets. They're probably insane.
I'm so excited. Okay, good. Everyone's playing tonight.
Avs to win, positive. You don't see that very often. Honestly, though, with this streak, I feel like that should probably be higher plus. And then Mac and McCarr, both anytime goal scorers. That's exactly what the Avs need if they want to win. So the math adds up on that one.
I think it's a low-scoring game.
You think a lot of low scoring but high shot, like goalie mode, or just low, slow?
Yeah, I think low, slow sounds good to me.
Okay. AJ just wants to take a nap for this 8 o'clock start. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Also, it's not on there, but Miko over on shots continues to be absolutely free dollars right now. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. Maybe go take that one as well. You can do it over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the DNVR code when you sign up with a new account. You get $5 to bet on any NHL team to win their next game, and if they do, you get $150 in free bets. So jump on that today with DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See the show notes down below for details, and of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're about 10 minutes away from puck drop, so we're going to take this one down. We got the watch along coming your way if that's your thing. If not, at least tune back in for the post game, which we will break down whatever it is that happens. We might be happy and partying. We might be sad and depressed. We might be mad and angry, or any other emotion that you can fathom. I don't know what, but you'll find out then. So tune in. We will talk to you in a little bit.